all wet and saving pars.
Dude, best catching basket I've ever seen.
All time, right here. I saved him for Peter Pan Park.
You saved the best catching veterans for Peter Pan.
Isn't that cool? Bunch of little monkeys
Is that
everywhere.
the year you were born?
That is the year after I was born. Like, dude, I remember when I first started touring, I had to, like, write a check and send it in the mail. Like, I'm that old.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen those memes. That's me. I'm this old. Like, and then you had to wait until the end of the year to see who won a tournament, because you'd flip back in the back of the magazine and find your name in print like this tall. So
you had to use a magnifying glass.
Yeah, exactly. I still do to this day.
All right, hey, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another practice round. Eric Mccabe, two-time major champion, 2010 world champion, first PDGA win in 1997.
Wow, research. Research. This guy does his research. Capital City Classic, right? In Topeka, Kansas.
Yep.
Yep.
Can you believe that? 97.
No, 97, dude. I'm old.
I was literally in my diapers still.
Yeah.
By a long shot.
A lot of viewers probably weren't even born by then.
And you won your world championship when Gannon was in diapers.
That's a fact. That's true.
So if you guys don't know, Eric Mccabe, longtime dynamic disc promoter, supporter, involvement guy. Now turned kind of course designer. Going to get into that as well. You know, where did you start? Like, how did kind of disc golf get into your life? Like, where did this journey begin for you?
It started right here in Emporia, Kansas, actually. I had grown up about a par 5 away from Jones Park, honestly. And as a kid, just driving through the park, you know, 16 years old is when I found the game back in like 94, I think it was. So, yeah, just seeing baskets in the park, wondering what it is. And at the time, I was actually a gymnast. I was competing in gymnastics, and my coach brought me out to the course and showed me the game of disc golf. And I mean, from the first throw, hooked.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even if I was throwing a Globy Stealth back then, I was hooked. Didn't matter.
Didn't matter what.
Did not matter what it was back then. So that's kind of how I got the start, and then I just started getting better and better. And then, 2000, I decided to hit the road full time.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you've made a pretty good career out of this for yourself.
Not too bad. I've done all right. Well, now I'm doing the ESU stuff. I don't even know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, I did. You're the coach for the...
Yep, head coach for Emporia State University's disc golf team, and we're under the athletic umbrella as opposed to clubs. So we have funding, we have budgeting, we have all that fun stuff. So it's been a great ride, too.
We got disc golf at my high school. My English teacher is like an avid disc golfer. And so we like implemented it there, but it was just like a club. It was like him doing it out of like his goodwill.
Which is how it still is a lot.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the universities aren't under athletics. There's only a handful of them that are. So it's pretty cool to be a part of that.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Let's jump right into it. We're out here at Peter Pan Park. Did you design this course?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, look at this. It's coming full circle.
Full circle, baby. Full circle, baby.
Let's get some shots, and we're going to just 9-hole practice round. Let's get it.
Little right, but that'll work.
All right, well, that was, I mean, better than it could have been.
Yeah, of course.
Who designs the dang hole to go over a baseball field?
I designed it before the baseball field was there.
Stupid baseball people, man. Can't have anything nice because of them.
Perfect.
I don't know if I've ever played this.
This layout or this?
Well, I played the course.
I knew you played the course.
But I don't think I've played this layout. Hey, a few things really quick. Number one, head on over to GibsonDiscGolf.com. Check out our subscription box. We also have a mystery box with a mystery stamp where you get 5 discs for only $65. They're all premium discs, so really, really good deal there. If you use code DREW, you're going to get 30% off your first month subscription box. We're still giving away Kristen signature discs and other stuff like that, so super, super great. Head on over to Squatch Disc Golf. If you want this bag, go on over and buy it. If you want to upgrade but you don't want this bag, use code DREW to save yourself $20 and or shipping costs. Then last but not least, if you're looking for any disc golf supplies, whether it be discs, bags, retrievers, anything like that, head on over to infinitedisc.com. Make sure to go on their website, shop around. If you use code DrewGibson10, you're going to save yourself 10% off your entire order, whether you order my signature disc, finish line disc, or just something for yourself. Thank you guys so much. Let's get back to the video. Ladies and gentlemen, he has still got it.
Still got it. Watch out.
Oh.
That's pin high.
So, you obviously have switched more into course design, I would say.
Yes,
I mean,
100%.
you don't play competitive disc golf much anymore.
I played a bunch last year on the Masters Tour so I could qualify for Worlds, which is in Emporia this year.
Oh, okay.
So I played probably 6 or 7 A tiers.
Okay.
And I won all but one.
Okay, well,
so,
knuckles there.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, but obviously at one point you were on tour full time. I mean, that's all you did. Yeah. You lived.
Back when, it was all out of my wallet.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't getting salaries. And we weren't, we didn't have, I'll tell you what, if you had your name on a disc, you won a world title.
Yeah.
That's
now
it,
everyone, their mom has a signature disc.
Yeah, which is great. But yeah,
so,
it was different.
So how did you kind of get into course design? And obviously you designed your first course, maybe it was this one. And what made you like fall in love with it?
Getting into it was living in Emporia and just kind of being forced into it almost, right? And Jones Park had one course, Jones West. That was the course I learned how to play on. First course I designed was Jones East, and then the second one was Peter Pan. Okay. And Peter Pan's great. And I think it was Peter Pan's course actually that made me fall in love with course design. And this course has gone through so many different changes over the years. We've put new tees in, new pins.
Baseball fields,
all that fun stuff. So I think that's really what pushed me into it. And then I just started to get more and more, love for it.
Okay.
I put it this way. I've always got more out of putting in a good quality course than I have winning a tournament.
Even the World Championship.
That doesn't count. Besides the World Championships, obviously, besides the World Championships. But like today, if I go out and win a tournament, who knows? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, nobody cares. But if I go and put in a course somewhere in a town that doesn't have a layout.
100,000 people can enjoy it.
Yeah, or whatever. Even if it's, a lot of people are like, hey, championship level, is that all you want to do? No. These beginner nines are so much better for the sport than a true championship level course. Because you're getting so much more value, so much more growth out of those courses.
I think that's like you're in the position now where your sole thing is growing the sport. Mm-hmm. Whether that's being a good advocate, doing videos, being a good representative, of dynamic disc, whatever it is, like you're in the sport at this point at 40-something years old to just be a good steward of the game.
Correct.
And then designing great courses and being involved with cool projects, especially dynamic discs, and Champions Landing, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But, is a bonus at that point.
100%.
There's not a lot of people who have got to have the career you've had, not only from finding the game to playing to being a high-level competitor, and then easing into team manager at one point.
Yep.
Dynamic discs, I don't know what your role is there now.
Course designer. That's really it. That's all I do now.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you went from, like, trying your best, being the best, kind of phasing out of that, and then, like, hey, like, I design courses and, help grow the sport at literally the ground level.
Yeah.
I mean, I could lose this, someone could find it and go play your 9-hole course and just, like, you did fall in love with the game. And it's a pretty cool, like, life cycle to be in.
Oh, it's definitely a cycle. It's definitely
like, hey, I found the game in a park by my house, and then hopefully now you're building parks that kids are finding the game in.
100%.
So that's pretty. I mean,
that's what it's about right there for me.
I think that's a pretty cool like way to look at it. Is that the way you found it is like what you're now providing to others.
Absolutely.
And it's like I always tell people it's the same reason people view me as like a complainer sometimes. It's like I'm just trying to leave it better than I found it. Yeah. And if complaining or calling stuff out is that, then I'm a complainer. But it's like I want to leave this sport. If I quit playing tomorrow, I want to look back on the videos I've made, the things I've done, and be like, okay, hey, I made it better than it was before I got there.
That you made an impact.
Yeah, like period. I did something.
Yep, that's
and
what
it's
about.
Like, whatever that means to everybody else is different, but. Dude, trim that.
Tree branch. I left that one there.
It has my name carved in it.
Has your name in it. Yep.
I tried my best, but sometimes your best just isn't good enough. How about that? Oh my.
Ooh. Sometimes your best is just
a little short.
Just the worst.
Oh my gosh.
That's quality.
That looks pretty world champy.
Pretty parky.
Nice shot.
Thank you. Yep, that'll play.
Good enough. So tell me about the journey of DD, like from Eric Mccabe's eyes. Like wherever that starts for you, then obviously, you're still very involved. Like I want to know Eric Mccabe's version or standpoint or viewpoint of DD from start till.
So I was there at the start. I met Jeremy on the course. It's kind of funny. Nobody really knows this part of it, but I designed a logo for the Kansas Disc Golf Association, and it was just this big hawk with a holding a frisbee, and it was the KDGA, and that was it.
Okay.
Jeremy used that on his eBay store in the beginning.
And you were like, hey, dude.
I'm like, I didn't care, you know, and I was like, that's kind of cool. Someone's using something I put together for KDGA. I thought maybe KDGA was doing it. Who knew?
Oh, okay.
But, you know, I met Jeremy on the course playing disc golf. I helped pick the logo out. I mean, there was a lot of things in the beginning that were very, you know, ground level decisions that were being made. And I remember I used to dye discs for him back in the day. Me and Clay were basically the first 2 employees, and Clay's still there to this day as well.
In his
our
basement.
IT guy in his basement. It was his attic actually that started, and then man, there's just so much. We started running events. I had been going to Texas for years. My family lived there. I talked Jeremy into going down there and running events, and we did that. And dude, it's insane to see what DD has grown to now.
My first year on tour, 2014. I mean, pretty much like 2 years after, you know, DD kind of happened. And I remember like you and Jeremy in a not the best RV.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just set up with stuff out there.
Yep.
Dyes. Macbeth was on the team.
Oh, we had everybody. We had Macbeth. We had Nico. We had Yuli. We had Pierce. We had Katrina.
Yeah, you had everybody.
I mean, if anybody in the sport at that time was on Team DD because it was an apparel sponsor.
Yeah, and it was just discs, and you know. And I remember like Derek Billings, you know, was on the team. Like,
D-Bills.
You know, it's crazy to me like how you guys started from just like a mom and pop disc golf thing, just like anybody else is, and then you built to literally selling to an investor.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a crazy like life cycle. Cause
it is.
When I was on the team 2016, 2017, I would have never assumed like that anyone's gonna like Russell's gonna sell.
Right.
And now of course I don't know his ownership stake now, and none of my business, and probably none of yours either. But this, like, I would have never assumed that was going to happen. You know, he wasn't taking a paycheck. He had the same truck forever. Like, he just was like worried about the brand growing.
Yeah.
So when they announced like House of Discs bought DD, it was like one of the first like acquisitions.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it was number 2, I believe.
And I was
behind
like,
Latitude. Because Latitude was the first.
And I was like, what happened? Like, to me as an outsider, you know, and knowing you guys very well, but not asking about that business stuff, I was just like, what happened?
What's going on? Well, if you think about it, I mean, this really makes a whole lot of sense. When the person that manufactures your discs sells to an investor, you kind of have to join the club, right? I mean,
you have no...
There are other options, but at the same time, let's just keep running with this train, see where it goes.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously these people are business people, and hopefully they have the right idea in mind, and I think
which they do. I mean, our CEO of Dynamic Discs was CEO of Dickies in Fort Worth. Yeah. CEO of, what is it, 3 or 511 Tactical.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was another one, too. And then our brand director was the brand director for Cabela's, Under Armour. So, I mean, we've got these individuals that have been in these multi-billion-dollar companies that are kind of making the final decisions now.
And I think that's why, from an outsider's perspective, people are getting cut from the team, contracts are changing. Yeah. And I was explaining, like, hey, like, there's real business people doing math now. Yep. It's not just, hey, Rusko likes you, so he's going to keep overpaying you because, you know, he thinks you're a nice guy. It's like, at the end of the day, like, if you're getting paid X and you're bringing in Y, and they don't line up.
You need to Z your way out.
Yeah, you need to blast. You know, but it's like... That's one of those, like, I'm going to just call it a growing pain, because in disc golf, disc golf, there's never been, you know, like, for example, like, Philo was on Team Star 7 years longer than he, like, deserved by his play, but he was an ambassador for the sport, did commentary, and, like, they loved him. Yeah. But, like, if Innova was bought by, you know, Nike, it'd be like, okay, hey, where are you guys finishing? Okay, cut, add. Like, you know, it wouldn't be just, like, a free-for-all of, oh, yeah, well, you've been here for 10 years, so we're going to be nice to you. You know, it's like, hey, if you're not pulling your weight, you're going to get off the buggy.
Corporate.
Yeah. Yep. Which is one of those things that is understandable. You know, you want the business to grow and you want to make money and you want to do that. You know, corporate America is the definition of that. You know,
absolutely.
But it's cool to see like where DD obviously started. You know
where we're at,
where it's at, and then obviously where it's going. I mean, if those people, I didn't know those people were in charge. It's like if they are, which
they are. Yeah.
I feel like there's no way that the sport doesn't continue to go with those people getting involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because I think before, you know, like Rusko, not that he's a bad businessman, but he's not he's a guy that loved disc golf and like had a company that became successful. You know, it's like there's people who are CEOs of Fortune 500 companies that understand business and how to grow something probably better. I mean, I own a manufacturing company. I'm no business mogul. You know, someone could take over my company and do a better job than me. You know, and
sure. But there's also there's different ways to go about it too. You know. And there's different ways to go about business, in my opinion. But having these people that have past experiences in growing these massive brands. I mean, having them in,
well, it's hard to argue
in the
with that.
house is great.
Yeah, how in the house? I like that.
In the house,
dude.
Yeah.
Good job. That dad joke, but you're not a dad.
These tee pads have been here for many, many years.
I think they're actually pretty good.
They're not bad. They're better than some of the ones I've seen on tour.
That's not saying much.
Yeah, I do like that they're standardizing things though.
Yeah, that is good. It's just a matter of like that turf they picked doesn't actually drain.
Well, don't elevate them either.
You don't like them when they're built on a deck?
I just don't like injuries.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm old.
Well, you should see James Conrad try to play on those.
Yes, correct.
He looks like he's just 1 millisecond from breaking his neck.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't know how he does it.
Oh, backdoor route?
Tried to, but got that second tree.
You know this course really well because I thought you absolutely laced that shot.
You want to be like a little bit right of that. That tree on the shorter bushy tree on the right is getting massive.
I know. I don't remember that being there, but also I haven't played here since.
Yeah, I remember when it was planted.
Well, you probably remember when those bushes weren't even bushes.
Yeah, exactly.
Two straight. Golly.
We'll get that on the next tee pad.
That was a really good throw. Yippee.
Yippee.
You obviously toured for a long time ago.
A long time ago, correct.
Two things. What do you think the main differences are in tour now, whether that's salaries or whatever? And then who was like the scariest player to play against, like when you were in your prime?
Yeah, a handful of players come to mind, but the differences now between touring full-time than it was back when I did it was, I mean, obviously the salaries. It's a little more comfortable being out on the road, knowing that, I mean, this is van life now. Everybody has RVs and vans. I toured majority of my career in a Honda Element, and I slept in that Element. When I first hit the road, I hit the road in a Dodge Ram. So, I mean, that tells you right there that it wasn't as easy for me or anybody in that generation that was touring. I think having the funds to be out on the road, like I'd saved up. I started touring at a later age than some of these younger kids are. So I saved up a lot of money to hit the road full time. And I made a lot of great connections along the way, stayed on people's couches, which I think there's still some of that today. But I believe that there's a lot of Airbnbs going on nowadays, right?
Oh, the tour is much more expensive now.
It is, and that's obviously everything's more expensive now.
But
I'm
saying like the way that people are living. They have a nice new RVs, they have Airbnb, they have a nice hotel.
Like, dude, I remember when I first started touring, I had to like write a check and send it in the mail. Like, I'm that old.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen those memes. That's me. I'm this old. Like, and then you had to wait until the end of the year to see who won a tournament because you'd flip back in the back of the magazine and find your name in print like this tall. So
you had to use a magnifying glass.
Yeah, exactly. I still do to this day. But no, I think that's part of the big differences than it is now. People having salaries, which is great to see. Absolutely love it. I just think I peaked a decade early. That's all there is to it. But no, I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything. But as far as when I was touring top players to watch out for, I mean, there was always the handful of names I'm going to throw out. Feldberg was always one touring. Avery was another one that was always toward the top. Climo. I played against Climo and Schultz so many times. But my favorite player to play with back in the day was Rico. And he's still out there grinding.
Yeah.
And
when I wrote that question, I had Feldberg in my mind.
Yeah. How could it not be Feldberg? The dude's, he's won what is it, 9 majors?
Yeah.
Something like that. I think he's won almost every major out there. So
yeah, at least when he retired, he had won all of the ones that were possible.
Yep. Only a one-time world champion, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Because nowadays,
when he won before you did.
Yeah, he won in 08. He won the year that I won my first major.
Oh, Players Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's up
Players
there.
Cup.
It's in my head.
I love it. Good deal.
But no, that's cool. I think that, I'll look back one day and be joking about how old I am, telling the same thing. Like, I had to play against Prime Macbeth and Ricky and Gannon and AB.
And I played against Macbeth. Macbeth was touring when I played with him during my Worlds win. He was on my card like round 2 or 3.
Of 12.
Of 10.
You guys.
Yep.
The Worlds used to be 10 rounds and a final 9.
Yep. Yeah.
So the best player really did win then.
Yes. Exactly.
And
I owe all of my win to 2 things: staying focused the entire time, patient, and my putter never hitting the ground the last day. The last 2 days. Just made every putt.
Okay.
Every putt went in. If I threw it up, it went in. The basket looked like the size of that tree. It was massive. It was insane.
I mean, that's how. I mean, I have not nearly as decorated in disc golf as you are, but my 2 Pro Tour wins, I felt the same way. I just felt like the fairway looked like it was the size of this park, and I felt like the basket looked bigger than normal.
Couldn't miss.
You know, and it was like, well, my drive's going down the middle, my putt's going in, like it's easy day, you know. And I think that's what people don't realize about competing at our level.
Well, you've heard Mccabe say blackout mode.
Yeah.
I was there at Worlds. I know exactly what he's talking about, where you just have this in your head, I'm not losing.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible for me to lose, no matter what I do.
I think that Mccabe is, I mean, maybe you played with, you did play with Climo, so maybe your opinion is a little different, but, I mean, I think Mccabe is the greatest to ever play.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of skill, talent, accomplishments, and then what he's done for the sport.
I agree with that.
Like, I think that the GOAT.
I agree with that.
LeBron James can't be the GOAT of basketball for me because Michael Jordan made basketball cool. You know, whoever the next golfer is can't be the GOAT over Tiger Woods because Tiger Woods made golf cool.
Sure. No,
like,
absolutely.
I feel like Mccabe made
he did 100%.
disc golf cool. Like,
and to me, there is generational GOATs.
Yeah.
Right? And Climo is
course.
100% that generational GOAT.
No, it's just like Bill Russell. I mean, you win 11 or 12 championships. Like, but when you talk about basketball GOAT, people don't mention Bill Russell.
Right.
Not because he didn't win 11 championships, but just
nobody knows who he is now.
But like, it's the same thing. Like, Kenny kind of like went away, you know, and it's like while Mccabe was dominating and growing the sport and doing this and that, Climo was kind of non-existent.
Yep.
So it's like not like Climo was doing what you're doing and YouTubing and Instagramming and Twittering and being relevant. He would have stayed in the conversation.
Right.
But it's like, you know, when someone else is absolutely doing what you did and you're gone, it's easier to fill those shoes, I think, you know, without some presence there.
Which I 100% agree with. The only difference I would say between that and now is, well, one, Climo had kids too, and he wanted to go and take care of his kids, which I really respect. I respect the hell out of that. But it's also, there's more opportunity in the sport now at the end of people's career than there was back then.
Well, people are ending their career early to do commentary.
Yeah.
You know, like
absolutely.
They're like, oh, hey, I tried to tour, couldn't make it. I'm going to do,
I'm going to make more money talking.
And which is great. I mean, it's great that our sport is offering ways for people to be sustainable, whether they're the best player in the world, whether they're YouTubing, whether they're
different avenues.
You know,
fantastic.
Signature discs, whatever it is. It's like there's a way for people to enjoy the sport and make money without having to win the world championship.
Yeah.
You know, like when you were at your best, it's like, oh, Discraft, hey, can I get some money? Well, you didn't win the world, so
sorry.
Yeah, sorry about your luck.
Sorry about you. Well, when I won Players Cup, every year leading up to my win, everybody won 10 grand for first place. Every year. I think I won like 3,500.
Oh man.
Because they wanted to pay the field, which I love that option.
Yeah.
I love that they wanted to pay deeper than just have it be 10 grand for first and $100 for second.
But you didn't love that you got 6,500 less.
I didn't love that, but what I will say is Discraft, they did take care of me. They wrote me a fat bonus for winning that major, way more than the bonus was in my agreement.
Oh, sweet.
Paid for all my entries moving forward. I mean, they really did take care of me.
Well,
so
hey, Discraft.
No hate.
Thank you. They support me a lot too. So they give me discs.
Wagner and Kenner. Those were my boys back in the day.
It's not your boys now.
Well, they're not my boys.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So this recently got a little bit of a redesign, because this used to be 5. And then you'd walk back and play 6.
Oh, okay.
So now we turned this into 1 hole and added a hole over here. So
okay.
Yeah, we'll play to that one.
Okay.
Since you can, see it on this brand new tee pad.
The new tee pad's not a skinny mini like the other ones.
No, remember those little bitty guys?
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh!
Ooh, so short.
Gosh. Eat your breakfast, bro.
Too early. There it is. All day.
Ching. We'll just act like it went in.
What is what?
So we'll just act like it went in.
Yeah.
All right, I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
Are you sure?
Maybe.
This is a tough one. How do you feel about tour standards, baskets, stuff like that?
I think, so I've been on both sides of the coin for this, right? Under the kind of manufacturer side of things, where coming to Emporia, it always felt weird for them to put a disc catcher or a chain star on our courses. But in my opinion, if we want to take it to the next level, every single sport has standardized equipment.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's no.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
To me, it's going to be the Disc Golf Pro Tour stepping up and just saying, hey, here's the basket. And I don't think that they just let the companies bid on it. I think they design their own.
Well,
and come out with their own with a band that you can put sponsor wraps on.
So that was my thing. I think that, like I said, just say, for example, I mean, the veteran basket isn't the best.
Sure.
It
depends.
It's getting better.
It depends on which veteran you're talking about, too. There is that. Now, stainless steel chains, to your argument, agreed.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And the ones at Country Club right now, Champions Landing, are really good.
Yeah, because they fixed the ring on the bottom.
But we're in like the 7th year of the basket, and there's millions of them out there, and like not every event, as we saw with Music City Open, has the correct basket. So we have to judge it off of like what's being used, not the best possible thing. Which one is the problem? I made a video yesterday saying like, hey, we need to like hold people accountable, and like if DD needs their basket on the course because it's a DD event, we need their best basket.
Sure,
whether that's
agree.
DD overnight,
you're not wrong.
18 of them over or whatever. It's like
you are not
because
wrong
the problem
at all.
to me, and how I view it is, obviously you're very involved in DD. Like, to know you guys have a good basket and have a local community use a crappy one, and then people roasting you guys, that probably doesn't feel good either, because you're like, well, this isn't our best like that we have. It's not like that's the best basket and it still sucks.
Sure.
It's like you guys have a basket that's adequate and really good that could be used, but they didn't like seek it out.
Yeah.
You know,
The announcement came out that they're standardizing T-pads. It's kind of weird that they would go T-pad before basket too, or not go at the same time.
I think the problem is that
the T-pads I understand because there's a safety thing there, right?
Yeah.
Potentially.
I think the problem is, imagine if they design their own basket and they said, okay, hey, this is the basket we're going to use starting July or this week.
Yeah.
Roscoe would be very upset to not have,
Sure.
So I think that's the thing. I think that the T-pad doesn't upset any money.
Yep.
So I think that the basket upsets money. Obviously.
No, I agree with you. And to that argument, not just Rusco would be upset, but so would other manufacturer
I'm just saying this
owners.
week,
you know what I mean? Other manufacturers owners would be mad because they're the ones funding the Pro Tour too. They're the ones sponsoring it, and so you can't make them mad.
Yeah,
so
and I understand.
Get that.
Like,
I get that argument.
I think the other thing that like I understand is like you've seen with Jonesboro, like they went from like disc catchers to Prodigies to DD to now like the West Side basket,
which is just that.
Yeah, with a different wrap on it. But it's like it's crazy to me that like change. It's like imagine like playing a PGA Tour event 3 years in a row. There's 3 different cups.
Right.
It's like
different cup sizes.
Yeah.
However, I don't know. I look at more like if we're comparing it to golf. Yuli made a post on whatever the podcast that him and Brody do, and he said that just slow your putt down.
Yeah.
To me that does make some sense because if you think about you going and playing on golf, there's different speeds to the green. That's what they have to deal with week in and week out.
But here's the thing: there's a putt you can roll on every green that drips in the chains in the bottom of the cup and can't come out.
Correct.
You cannot putt into a basket.
Here's the other argument though. We throw things at things. It will never be perfect.
No, again,
it can be better.
Yeah,
but it will never be
perfect. That's my point. Like we talked about this like off camera earlier. Like I want it to be better.
Yes.
Like that's the thing. I don't want this game is never gonna be perfect.
Yep. I agree.
This isn't a field goal where if you kick it through, you kick it through. This is disc golf. It's gonna skip. It's gonna be on a weird angle.
Yeah.
It's gonna be windy. The disc is gonna hit the chains and go like this, and the headwind's gonna push it out. Like
absolutely.
We're playing outside sport with the round thing throwing at a pile of chains.
Yes, with wind and elements involved.
I'm not asking for perfect. I'm just asking to use the best possible option we have because a spit out.
I agree completely.
A spit out can cost you tens of thousands of dollars now.
Sure.
It's not just it spit out. Oh well, it chained out. Like it's like that could be the difference in a bonus and tour discs and a lot of
world
things.
Title.
Yeah, and it's like what happened to Calvin, and this is a different thing, but it's still course stuff. What happened to Calvin at Jonesboro? Both those on that par 3 where he hit the base 2 days in a row and rolled away.
Yeah.
He lost by 1 stroke.
Yeah.
It's like, you mean to tell me that like
he threw a perfect shot.
He didn't deserve birdie there? And it's like, sure, would it have went different? Like, of course, it's easy to point that out, but it's like 2 days in a row you throw a park job and you roll into the woods off of a course asset.
That's 2 strokes right there.
2 strokes. It's like, is the Disc Golf Pro Tour PayPaling him, hey, sorry about our thing? Like, but it's like that. It's an ad, which like we need ads. Like you said, the basket, we need it to say dynamic disc so we can make
get the
money.
wrap on there. That's fine.
But it's like putting something like alters the course and alters the play is where I have a problem.
Big issue. I'm not disagreeing with everything you just said.
I think it's like at a certain point, like the money and the way the sport works versus
Look how good that thing caught.
Dude, those chains are heavy though.
Yeah. Well, these are galvanized. They're not staying.
Well, Do you know why anyone would ever think a shiny thing should try to catch a moving thing?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we have this thing that's moving and spinning. Let's put a shiny thing to catch it.
Let's do that. No, I get it. I'm in agreement. And I've been saying that for years.
All right, we've talked about Champions Landing enough now.
Champions Landing.
One, give us some info on that, and let us know about some of the plans you guys might have. I'm sure if there's a redesign, you'll be doing it. So just kind of fill us in on what's going on.
So Jeremy Rusco has purchased Champions Landing. He purchased it 3 or 4 months ago at this point. And right now the plan is just move forward with whatever we can, right? It's nice being out there because if you go in there, you see a lot of the changes that he's already made.
Okay.
Right?
I saw the cool fountain.
Well, the fountain, I'm talking interior. So if you go down the stairs into the bar and grill, there's a whole bunch of like, there's pictures of Kristen on the wall. There's Macbeth pictures on the wall. There's,
oh, wow.
I mean, he's really dressed it up into like a true pro shop. Has like 6 TVs. One of them's always showing disc golf, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, but at the end of the day, what he's trying to do is he's applying for a grant, and when that money comes in, we're gonna just redo everything.
Okay.
You know, tear the building down, and Jeremy can speak more to this.
Okay.
You know, if he agrees to being on your channel here. But the plan was to tear it down, put in indoor pickleball, cornhole, you know, all that fun stuff that is
you guys need
booming
in the winter
right
here.
now. Yes. But also put money into the golf course and into the disc golf course, which would be a full redesign of the course. And right now what we're working on is a shorter layout as well. Because right now you don't want to go out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
far for anybody.
It is. It's huge. You step up the whole one, it's 1,000 feet, and you're like, nope.
Yeah, you're like, I'll go home.
It's the entire, that hole is the entire length of Hammond Park that's across the street. Let's just go there and play. You know what I mean? That's what most people are doing. So he sees that, having a shorter layout out there and bringing leagues in once a week, disc golf leagues. There's Wednesday night men's night for golf.
Oh, okay.
So people are out there golfing. So a lot of things in the works. It's just a matter of executing, right?
Okay.
And it's an event center. So for Masters World coming up in June, we're doing the Kansas Disc Golf Hall of Fame ceremony. This is our second year doing it. So we're inducting a bunch of new people. Jeremy's one of them that's getting inducted into the Kansas Hall of Fame, Kansas Flying Disc Hall of Fame, and that'll be at Champions Landing as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool that, I think it's cool that he's obviously investing into this. And of course, it's hopefully going to make him money as well.
Sure.
But, you know, him doing this and applying for these grants and doing this stuff is hopefully going to be bringing disc golf to the next level. You know, with a redesign and an epicenter for disc golf. And obviously Emporia already, there's more courses than there are people almost. So.
Yes, that's true.
So,
more baskets than people, probably, yeah.
So, you know, it's pretty cool that there's, you know, he's investing into the game.
Yeah.
You're obviously involved. I will make a request, though. If you guys redesign it, can you keep new hole 18?
New hole 18 will stay. Also, new 16. 16 is not going anywhere.
It can't.
It's like the most iconic island hole, right?
Why would you?
I mean,
why
it's
would
a
it go
true
anywhere?
island. It's beautiful. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, don't worry, you guys.
Yeah,
I'll
worry
still
about
lose
that.
my disc every time I play that hole.
Same. You know, I played DDO last year, and I made that island 3 for 3.
Really?
That was my win. Don't ask me if I cashed, but that was my win. That was my win for the week. Just an EMAC truth right at it all day.
Really?
But it was June, and we had beautiful weather.
Yeah.
It was like this.
It wasn't.
Like,
It wasn't what it's going to be next week, in a
Correct.
couple of days.
Yeah, correct.
Did you ace it? Oh, sure.
You always get that skip right there, and then you have no putt. It's fun.
Who designed this place?
I don't know. Some guy.
I'm going to call that guy.
Buzzard?
Boom!
See?
Gosh, dang.
Mid-range. Mid-range is better than fairway.
Dude.
Thing's stable.
Dude. Hold on. It says please recycle.
Oh.
Dude, veterans are the best baskets ever.
Best catcher in the world. See?
right.
Even caught that left side garbage.
That was a great putt. No,
These do catch left side, I will say.
Dude, when the chains are galvanized and they're heavier,
Yeah.
it works.
It absorbs.
It's like the point, you can't have light, shiny chains. Like
White shiny things.
that putt slowed down before it didn't hit the pole
No.
because it hit like the galvanized, like heavy chains. So it's like, you know, but when we're on tour and we're using not the best option, that's a problem.
That is a problem.
Well, are you gonna rip this thing?
I'm going to try to throw it over to that basket. It's got good grip too. Like
yeah, it's. Oh, dude, park job?
Parking.
Get out of town.
That's like a bucket lid. It's pretty cool.
This is a cool hole.
Monkey Island. This hole is epic. It doesn't look like much just on video, but it's. When I was a kid, there was a fence around the top of this wall, and before that, there were monkeys on it. Like this used to be part of the zoo.
Oh, wow.
So there was monkeys on there, but they escaped and were running through town. So they put the monkeys at the other part of the zoo where they wouldn't get out, and then they just turned this. They just kind of didn't do anything with it, right? There was like a moat around it. So from that wall, there was probably a 10 to 15 foot drop.
Holy moly.
And it was a moat, like an actual island, and a chain link fence around the top of the wall. And when I was a kid, there was like waterfowl, like swans and ducks and those kind of things that swam around there. So it was kind of cool.
That's sweet.
And if you look, we'll get a shot of it, but on the door, there's a shot of what Monkey Island used to look like.
Really?
Like a picture of it.
We're going to show it.
But yeah, it's a cool little island hole. That's all you gotta do.
Can you tell me about that disc you've thrown on every hole?
Yeah, I can tell you about that disc that I've thrown on every single hole. It is a, let me get this right, a C-Line Metal Flake MD3.
Okay, so that's part of House of Discs.
Part of House of Discs. It's a Discmania disc. It's got a really cool like walleye triple stamp on it because I love fishing, love walleye fishing.
Can we go fishing today?
We might be able to. It is going to be a nice day.
You have stuff to do. But
I do have a lot of stuff to do.
I'm going to talk you into it.
But no, I wanted to do something special this year. Every year I do something cool for DDO Block Party. And it's usually an EMAC Truth or an EMAC Judge and new plastic, but I've kind of run out of plastics because I've done it all, right? So I wanted to do something a little different. So this is the first people are hearing about it.
Yeah.
Granted, this is probably after the fact.
But if they're in stock somehow or you can get one, make sure to go support Eric.
They'll be popping up. They'll be popping up for sure.
I'm sure they'll be for sale on Dollar Disc Golf Auction for $60.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
What's that Frisbee?
Envy?
Envy. Okay.
Their approach putters are like unbeatable, I think.
They have great putters. They have great mids too.
Yeah.
They do.
So, as a obviously promoter of the sport and like advocate for the sport and coach of the local college, what do you think like draws people to the sport? Like obviously, you know, we all know what drew us.
Yeah.
But you're around a bunch of kids now, you know, like what drew them and like what do you think is keeping them around?
Sure. Well, I think for me, what I see personally, since I am the head coach at Emporia State, what I see is people wanting to come to Emporia, Kansas and play disc golf, not just play disc golf, but get an education doing it as well, right? So
you guys are offering scholarships.
I'm offering scholarships to every one of my kids. They don't have to pay for a thing when they're here as far as entry fees. Traveling, like we just spent, I don't know how much money going to nationals a couple weeks ago, and all of that is done through fundraising and done through Emporia State University having funds for us to just utilize. So I think that's a big part of it for Emporia as a whole. I think it's just fun, dude. It's still the same reasons that you and I got into the sport.
Yeah, and we still play.
And we still play. So there's the same reasons back now that it is back then. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the same. I mean, the sport's lovable.
Oh, yeah.
And the flight is addicting. I mean,
there's nothing better than seeing a disc fly.
I've thrown so many.
Especially through the woods.
I've thrown so many good shots, just like you have. But like, just throwing that putter shot to 3 feet is like, you're like, wow, that's really cool.
I've also thrown some really bad shots.
Me too. Look at these shots. Dude, nice putt. Nice
here's
putt. Dude, look how cool this is. All right, now I'm going to show the Monkey Island because they deserve to know.
Yeah.
So here's the monkey's house.
1930s. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Bunch of little monkeys everywhere.
Is that the year you were born?
That is the year after I was born.
I think you should only use that disc.
You are correct.
Like, you are only using that disc, but I think you should only use that
disc.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Ooh. Same line?
Yeah.
Similar result.
That's good. You're a world champion. If I could throw it like you, I'd be much better
off. A world
off.
champion. No, it's so much harder to win a world title today. I couldn't imagine.
So what do you think, like, speaking of that, what do you think, like, some of the like projected growth you see for the disc golf? Like, is it coming from the pro tours? Is it coming from media? Where do you think, like, if we're going to keep growing, how do you think that's going to happen?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both those things. I think the pro tour has a lot of the responsibility in their hands as far as the growth goes, but media is a huge part of it, in my opinion, and not just advertising my new line of discs on the Disc Golf Network. You know what I mean? It's more about getting the word out there more and getting like corporate sponsorship, like Johnsonville, like we've done in the past.
Yeah,
LL Bean.
Bean, yeah.
Those are the kind of things that are really going to get the eyeballs in the sport, in my opinion. And I've said that for years, that we need to find that corporate sponsorship, which we've done a great job of, but we got to hold on to them too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You got to hold on to them.
You don't got to get them once, you got to get them and hold them.
Yep. And then obviously education, like Edge is a great organization that Jay and Des, they've been doing some amazing things for the sport. So continuing that, putting discs in people's hands, it's huge.
So when it comes to that, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And this is not a slight at Jay and Des at all. It's just a growth question. Do you think the PDGA should be the organization sending people, say you're the Kansas PDGA representative. Mm-hmm. When they have a school interested, they send you to go there on behalf of the PDGA, not another organization. Because I think obviously the PDGA, getting kids introduced to that first.
Yeah.
Hey, join our thing. Or, hey, here's a free coupon. Join. Like, I think that would be very valuable. Not in the sense of introducing people to the sport, because introducing is introducing.
Sure.
But I think in the sense of like getting people to recognize what the PDGA is and have more members, which gives us a bigger budget. And,
I agree.
I think that, do you think that that's a possibility that could be a thing? Like, not that I want to take it away from Jay and Des,
right,
but I think that there's value to the PDGA having that role.
I agree. I don't disagree. I know Zoe does a lot with Uplay as well. So they're kind of competing, right? And it almost feels like if they would all come together,
and just be the PDGA,
it would be huge.
Yeah, and they could
they
could fundraise themselves. Like,
absolutely.
Hey, I'm Zoe with Uplay under the PDGA.
Yep.
Donate to us, and we'll have extra funds for the kids.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I view it. I just think that, like, as the governing body, they should be the one going into the school and saying, hey guys, this is disc golf.
Yep.
Here's coupons. You guys are all going to be free if you join right now. And
join great. And that's great. And I know they're doing a lot of stuff. I know Ricky does some with his Saki Bomb Foundation where he goes into schools. Paul, obviously, with his foundation, he's done a tremendous amount of growth in the sport. Stuff, like I saw a number the other day. I don't remember the exact number, but it was really high of the money he's donated back into it. Just all of his winnings. Yeah. Like, think about that. Like, that's what we need. We need more of that in the sport in order to get those outside eyeballs looking in. There's a reason that Paul is so successful.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And it's not just because he wins.
I mean, that's part of it, but it didn't hurt his career. Thrown over the back corner of the Monkeys. If that doesn't go in, it's going in the water.
Oh.
The ladder.
It's in the water. Well, we're going to go fishing later, so we'll catch it.
Yeah, perfect.
We love fishing. Honestly, I thought you were going to throw this basket over here.
Oh, the left one's better. That is an EMAC Judge. You guys should go pick one up right now.
Make sure to go get yourself an EMAC Discraft Judge. So, in your career, obviously, we've been talking about how successful you've been. And, last hole you mentioned you've thrown some bad ones. What's kind of some of the more memorable bad experiences you've had?
Oh.
Like, is there a stretch of tournaments you had or anything like that kind of, you're like, man, this is bad?
Yeah, absolutely there is. Actually, it was 2010. It was a terrible, 2009, I actually broke my hand. And that was in between two majors. So I didn't think I'd ever come back from that. And during the Worlds, leading up to the Worlds, I had a lot of stuff going on in my head, in my brain, a lot of crazy stuff going on in my life. And halfway through that World Championships, I was like, done, just ready to be done. I'm like, I'm done with disc golf. This isn't for me now. I'm done. And I don't know if it was that not carrying attitude that made me be successful.
Yeah.
But it made it to where 40 footers didn't matter at that time. Right? So I was going through a lot of stuff, and I think that was probably the lowest part of my career, the year I won Worlds. It's crazy to think.
That's insane to think that, like, you're like, this isn't for me. Oh, no. World champion.
Yeah, and then I won. I'm like, well, I can't quit now. let's keep going. It was like a rejuvenation, though, right? Like telling myself all those years, I can do this. I can do this. I can play. I can win. I can perform. and then being let down, and then all of a sudden it happens. It's like a light switch. No different than Presnell this weekend.
Yeah, that's
incredible. Who knows what's going to happen to him in the future? Like,
yeah, or he has the record for the most Elite Series and major starts and no win.
No top 10s in majors.
Yeah.
To win. That's
well, Will Schuster did something similar, right? He hadn't won a B tier.
He was the last one, and then Doss had never won an A tier and won Worlds in 2005.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
But sometimes your worst moments could bring you the...
Sometimes your worst moments can be your best.
Yeah, that sounds cliche, but it's true.
All wet and saving pars.
Dude, best catching basket I've ever seen.
All time, right here. I saved him for Peter Pan Park.
He saved the best catching veterans for Peter Pan. All right, y'all. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Once again, if you guys made it this far, thank you so much. I know it's a big time commitment to watch all of our stupid jokes and good and bad shots. Eric Mccabe, thank you so much for joining. Greatly appreciate your time. If you guys are watching this still, or you've made it this far, please go subscribe to his YouTube channel. I'm going to link all that stuff in the beginning of the video. Follow his Instagram, support him, buy his MD3. Thank you so much.
Truths and
or EMAC Truth or EMAC Judges. There you go. So. Whatever it is, support Eric. Been on tour a long time, done a lot of great things for the sport. So thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one.